Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Virgo. Anna here. Okay, tomorrow someone stops pretending they're fine with just knowing you. The confession is already written in their head. They've set the time, chosen the place, decided this is it. You have hours to prepare. Start now. Tomorrow is specific. Not soon or eventually or when timing feels right. Tomorrow, as in the next rotation of the earth, as in you go to sleep tonight and when you wake up, this is the day someone tells you they're in love with you. And that confession changes everything, regardless of whether you reciprocate, regardless of whether you saw it coming, regardless of whether you're ready for the weight of someone's heart being placed in your hands with expectation that you'll either hold it carefully or return it without shattering it. They're going to admit it. Active choice, deliberate decision, not letting it slip accidentally, not hoping you'll figure it out through hints, not waiting for you to confess first so they can safely reciprocate without risk. They're taking the risk. They're being brave. They're doing the vulnerable thing of saying, I love you when I love you might be met with, I don't feel the same way, which would devastate them, but they're doing it anyway because not saying it has become more painful than saying it and being rejected. And they're so in love with you, not casually interested, not kind of into you, so in love. The kind that's been building, that's been consuming them, that's reached point where hiding it feels impossible, where pretending to be just your friend or just someone who knows you or just whatever role they've been playing to stay close while their actual feelings stay hidden, that pretending has exceeded their capacity to maintain it. Here's what you need to understand before tomorrow arrives. And this person stands in front of you with their heart in their throat, trying to say words they've rehearsed 1,000 times, but that will still come out imperfectly. Because vulnerability makes eloquence difficult. First, you probably already know who this is. Maybe not consciously. Maybe you've been deliberately not seeing it because seeing it would require dealing with it, and dealing with it feels complicated. But somewhere in your awareness, you know who this person is. Think right now, who's been different around you lately? Who's been paying more attention, being more available, finding excuses to be near you? Who lights up when you enter a room in ways that exceed normal friendship or normal professional courtesy? Who remembers things about you that most people forget? Who brings up things you mentioned weeks ago, proving they were storing your words, holding your details, treating your casual conversation as important information worth remembering? That's them. That's who's confessing tomorrow. And if multiple people fit that description, it's the one whose attention feels different, feels heavier, feels like it carries something they're not saying, but that you can sense in how they look at you, how they pause before responding to you, how they seem to calculate every interaction as though every word matters, every moment counts, every exchange is opportunity and risk simultaneously. You know, even if you're pretending you don't know, you know. Second, their timing isn't random. Something happened recently that made tomorrow the day. Maybe they saw you with someone else and jealousy triggered urgency. Maybe you're about to leave, move away, start something new that would make confession impossible if they don't do it now. Maybe they just hit their limit with keeping feelings secret, reached breaking point where staying silent feels like slowly dying and speaking feels like only option. Even though speaking carries risk of rejection, that silence doesn't carry. Or maybe they decided tomorrow specifically because they've been planning this. They picked the day. They created the scenario. They arranged circumstances that would give them privacy, time, setting that feels right for confession of this magnitude. Not random Tuesday, not just whenever. Tomorrow, because tomorrow is when they've decided to be brave, when they've committed to no more hiding, when they've accepted that living with your response, whatever it is better than living with uncertainty of never having asked. Third, they're terrified, absolutely terrified. Whatever confidence they project normally, whatever composure they usually maintain, all of that gets stripped away when you're about to tell someone you love them without knowing if they'll love you back. Their hands will shake maybe. Their voice will catch. They'll stumble over words they've practiced perfectly because practicing alone is different from saying them to your actual face while watching for your reaction, while trying to read whether you're horrified or pleased or just uncomfortable. Be kind if you can, even if you don't reciprocate. Even if this is unwelcome, even if their confession creates problem rather than solving one, they're being vulnerable in ways most people avoid their entire lives. That vulnerability deserves kindness even when it doesn't deserve reciprocation. This reflection invites you to consider, who do you think it is and how do you actually feel about them? Now, let me address the different scenarios for how this could go and how to navigate each one. Scenario 1. You feel the same way. You've been hoping they'd say something. You've been wanting them, but unsure if they wanted you. Their confession tomorrow is relief, is mutual feelings becoming mutual knowledge that can transform into actual relationship. If this is your scenario, make your yes clear. Don't make them guess. Don't play it cool to protect yourself from vulnerability when they've just been maximally vulnerable with you. Meet their courage with your courage. I feel the same way. I'm so glad you told me. I've been hoping you felt this. Clear, direct, removing all doubt so they can stop being terrified and start being happy. And then talk about what this means, what happens next, what you both want this to be. Don't just bask in mutual feelings without discussing practical reality of transitioning from whatever you were before to being romantic partners now. Address the logistics, address the concerns, address how you'll navigate this shift with people you both know. If people you both know will have opinions. Scenario 2, you care about them, but not romantically. Their friend, colleague, person you value, but don't want to date. Their confession tomorrow creates problem because saying no means potentially losing them from your life. When you don't want to lose them, just don't want them in romantic capacity. They're requesting. If this is your scenario, be honest and be kind, but don't be ambiguous. I care about you deeply as friend. I don't have romantic feelings. I'm sorry. Don't soften it so much that they hear hope. Don't say not right now if you mean not ever. Don't leave door open that you know is closed, because false hope is crueler than clear rejection. And then give them space to process. Don't try to maintain normal friendship immediately. They need time to grieve what they wanted and didn't get. Let them have that time without demanding they be okay quickly so you can feel less guilty about not reciprocating. Scenario 3. You're genuinely unsure. You never thought about them that way, but now that they're confessing, maybe you could, or maybe not. You need time to figure out how you actually feel before committing to answer you're not certain about. If this is your scenario, say that. I wasn't expecting this. I need time to process how I feel. Can I think about it and get back to you? honest, fair, doesn't reject them immediately, but doesn't fake reciprocation you don't feel yet. But don't take too long, days maybe, not weeks, not months. Their confession put them in vulnerable position, and leaving them there indefinitely while you decide if they're good enough for you is unkind. Think about it seriously, quickly, and give them answer so they can either celebrate or grieve and move forward. Scenario 4, you're not available. You're in relationship. You're not ready for relationship with anyone. You're leaving. You're dealing with things that make romance impossible regardless of whether you're attracted to them. If this is your scenario, lead with the unavailability. I'm flattered. I'm not available for a relationship right now because. Don't make it about whether you like them. Make it about circumstance that prevents relationship regardless of mutual attraction. This makes rejection less personal, less about them being inadequate, more about timing being wrong. This reflection invites you to consider which scenario feels most likely for you and what will your response be. Let me give you specific preparation you can do in these remaining hours before tomorrow's confession. First, get clear on your actual feelings, not what you wish you felt, not what would be most convenient, what you actually feel about this person as potential romantic partner. Sit with it, really examine it. Do you want them? Does imagining kissing them appeal or repel? Does imagining being their partner create excitement or dread? Your body knows, even if your mind is confused. Listen to your body's response when you imagine romantic scenario with them. Second, prepare for the awkward. Confessions are always awkward, even when they're reciprocated. The moments right after someone says, I love you, and before a response happens are excruciating for both people. Prepare yourself to stay present through the awkward instead of letting discomfort make you respond poorly. Practice saying your likely response out loud. Hear how it sounds. Adjust if it sounds harsher or less clear than you intend. You want your words tomorrow to match your actual feelings, not to be mangled version that comes out wrong because you're nervous too. Third, decide your boundaries. If you don't reciprocate, how much contact are you comfortable with afterward? If you do reciprocate, what pace feels right for exploring this new dynamic? Know your boundaries before conversation so you can communicate them clearly rather than agreeing to things in the moment that you'll regret later. Fourth, breathe. This is a big moment for both of you, but it's not life or death. It's someone telling you they love you. It's important, it's significant, but you'll both survive regardless of outcome. The world doesn't end if you don't reciprocate. Relationship doesn't automatically succeed if you do reciprocate. Keep perspective. This is one moment, one conversation, one choice point. How you respond matters, but it's not everything. Life continues. You both continue. Whatever happens tomorrow becomes part of your story, but it's not the whole story. This reflection invites you to consider, what do you most need to do or think about between now and tomorrow to be ready? Finally, let me address what happens after the confession, regardless of your response. If you say yes, if mutual love exists, tomorrow becomes beginning of something that's been building toward this moment. You get to explore what you are together when hiding is over, when the tension of will they won, they resolves into they will. Build slowly. Don't rush just because feelings are intense. Don't skip getting to know each other as romantic partners just because you already knew each other before. Dating someone is different from being their friend or colleague. Take time to discover this new version of your connection. If you say no, tomorrow becomes ending for them. Not necessarily ending of knowing you, but ending of hoping for romance with you, ending of the fantasy they've been holding, ending of possibility that kept them invested in ways they can't maintain once you've explicitly rejected romantic connection. Let them grieve. Don't make their grief about you. Don't take it personally if they need distance. Don't demand they be okay with friendship immediately. When friendship was consolation prize, they were accepting only because romantic relationships seemed impossible. But now that it's confirmed impossible, they need to release you entirely to move on. And if you say maybe if you need time, tomorrow becomes suspended state where they're waiting for your answer, don't abuse that power. Don't keep them waiting to stroke your ego. Think seriously about whether you want them, then tell them your answer, even if your answer disappoints them. Tomorrow someone tells you they love you. Tomorrow you have to respond. Tomorrow changes something regardless of what you say. Be ready, be honest, be kind. Their confession is coming. Your response determines what follows. Choose from your truth, not from your fear or your guilt or your obligation. Someone loves you enough to risk everything by saying so. That deserves respect, even if it doesn't deserve reciprocation. Tomorrow is the day. Get ready.